Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the one and only Bells and Bloodshed. I'm your host, Lindsay, and
And I'm your host, Bailey. Welcome back, guys. How
welcome
many weeks?
back.
This is like week 4. I
Yes,
feel like
I
it's week
believe
4.
so. Week 4.
After this, I'll just forget. But we're
We're
gonna
going
keep.
strong.
We're going strong. Oh, it's been like a month. It was like a month. Yeah, 4. It's been a month. So we have a lot to go over with y'all today. We're doing my case today, which is a lot. It has like 27 slides. I'm very detail oriented, but it's okay. But yeah, get into that. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, especially on this case with the case being Gabby Petito. We're going to really dive deep into that from the start all the way to the bitter end.
Ooh.
But let's get into our sweet tea time. Let's
Yay.
start. I'll go with mine first. Past week, not really much has been going on. I've definitely noticed a change in the weather. It's gotten a lot warmer, and I'm afraid that it's just going to have a warm streak for a week. Then it'll be bitter cold again. I don't want that to happen. It probably will happen again because it's like 70 degrees. And I'm like, ooh, nice weather. I can go out and tan. No, probably not. It's going to be bitter cold. Um, not ordered. We're getting wedding stationery ordered. Getting that ready to go coming up soon because you got to send those out before next couple of months with everything happening. We
Am I
have
getting one?
You're the matron of honor. What do you think? Um, we have next week still kind of school mode. Week after that, spring break, which is much needed, and I'll be on a bachelorette trip that week, so we need to start filming way before in advance for that one.
Yeah, I'm going to be off, but I ain't going nowhere. I'm sitting in my house and relaxing.
Oh, maybe we could do a change location for one. What do we think?
Mm.
Leave a like below if you agree with that one. But yeah, that's my sweet tea time. I'm ready for a break. I'm tired. And let's move on. For me, I'm exhausted.
Okay, everybody, my sweet tea time. This week has been a little busy at work. I did 3 presentations this week, 2 today and 1 yesterday, and it kind of tired me out, but that's okay. I went and got a nerve study done on my arm, and it was not enjoyable. But I don't have any major nerve damage, so that's nice. We just got to worry about the other problems I got now. But it'd be like that. Also, me and my husband have a Disney trip planned for our anniversary, so we have been getting really into like the Disney YouTube videos, and I'm very excited because I went when I was really little, but I have not went in a time in which I was conscious enough to remember anything.
Comment if she's going to be the next Disney adult.
I don't know if I'm gonna go that far, but I probably will like it. I might be a Disney adult at Disney, but not during other times.
You won't experience Disney until you're on the People Mover. I love the People. Have you been on? Go on the People Mover.
Girl, I can't tell you what I've been on.
Well, it's like the one. Well, yeah, you were so young. It's the one where you just kind of sit and you relax, and it's in Magic Kingdom, and it goes around like a circle, and it's just if you need
My head.
yeah, like that one. But it's great. I love it. We need to also sweet tea time with me again. So sorry, but we need to plan our trip if we're gonna do that.
Girl, I'm trying, girl. I'm trying.
If you watched us to this point,
It's hard keeping a college campus safe.
We
get busy.
Y'all do get busy. It's hard. Youth of
But
America.
yes, I agree.
Yeah, we're thinking of going to I Was Feeling Spooky in
Vampire
Covington.
Diaries.
Love it. Comment if you're Team Stefan, Team Damon. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, today we're covering the case of Gabby Petito. And that one's been pretty popular lately. I don't know if you've seen the Netflix documentary. I got a pretty good bit from that and a pretty good bit from just researching it.
I have.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so none of this will be new to you, but it'll be new to y'all. So, case of Gabby Petito. Let's get into it. So, Gabby's birth and Brian. We're going to start from the
we start
beginning.
From the birth.
The birth, okay?
The birth canal.
Gabby was born March 19th, 1999, my birth year.
That's Caden's birth year.
What's your birth year?
2002.
A child. She was born in Blue Point, Long Island, New York. And the only thing I found for Brian that he was born November 18th, 1997 in Florida.
Ugh.
Gabby's family background. She was born to Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt. She was the eldest of 6 siblings and half-siblings. Her parents later divorced, I think, when she was 6 months old. And they both remarried, and they both seem like they're very good, stable family
Yeah,
dynamic
they both seem
relationships.
good in like the show.
Yeah, like it was like, oh, this is like a united front. I really like that.
Yeah, I did too. They co-parent well, as far as I could
Hmm.
tell.
They said that Gabby had really had a good close relationship with both sides of her family.
Oh,
And they said Brian's family background, he was born to Chris and Roberta Laundry. They lived in Newport and they ran like a small business. I couldn't find the business, but Brian did have an older sister named Cassie Laundry as well. So kind of smaller family unit, but still close. So how did they know each other? Again, this is more focusing on Gabby, but with Gabby also comes Brian. If you know, you know. So Gabby and Brian went to the same high school in Bayport, and it was Blue Point High School in Long Island, New York, and they were in the same social circle. I think, like she was younger, and they would always hang out with the older guys, have a lot of fun with them. They were in like little bands, stuff like that, and they would just always talk and hang around with the older guys. And they said that Brian did not look like he was 17; looked like he was 10 years older than that. Like he was really
that's how
older
you know
looking.
you gotta run the other way.
Mm-hmm. And at the time, according to the documentary, Gabby was dating somebody before she dated Brian. So, but she still was in the
Yeah,
circle
she
with him.
was, because
Yeah,
he talked on the phone.
yeah. Well, at the time, I think Brian was with another girl, and he wrote her a letter after like they were just hanging out for a while. He's like, either you're gonna be like
My wife or my
my
best
wife
friend or
or the
something.
worst heartbreak I ever experienced. And I think she was kind of like, ugh, bye. So after that, Brian apparently saw Gabby going into a deli store, pulled over, ran up to her, and he said it was love at first sight, and Gabby said it was the same. Ugh.
Mm.
Again, the romantic
Love bombing
relationship,
already.
yeah. But again, the romantic relationship, it was he was with another girl, Gabby, and them, and they it was the girl that they were in the same social circle with. Again, the one that said either you could be my greatest love or my worst heartbreak.
If a man said that to me, I would be so cringed out.
I was kind of
I'd
cringed
have to
out.
say, like, get away from me right
Hmm.
now.
Brian might have wanted more out of it. Well, duh.
If you don't know what it's gonna be between a heartbreak and a love, I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't gonna be love.
Mm-mm. Not gonna be love. So, the romantic relationship begins. It began in 2019, and soon they just became very close within like a week. Like, just she was very like head over heels in love with him. I think he was the same towards her. And Gabby told her parents they were just gonna go move down to Florida, be with his family. And they were
Like a weekend of dating.
like, I don't know if it was a week, but just like for a while, like she's like, oh, I love him. I'm gonna move down and be with him in Florida. They didn't really give me a specific timeline with that one, but
Well, that decision was obviously not a good one.
mm-mm. Family was a little hesitant. They're like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "No, like, yeah, no, not like that, but like, no, yeah, like I'm sure it's fine." And she said she's gonna go down there anyway. They both really shared like love for like travel and adventure, so of course they'd be like, let's move down to Florida." The friend reported that they had sat down, planned out the rest of their life together overnight, and then they were gone the next day.
Okay then.
Hey, like, you're determined, I guess. You know, you're planning everything out, and you're gone. You know, it is what it is. So let's get into her Florida life. So when Gabby was in Florida, she really seemed to enjoy it. You know, I think it was kind of meeting to her side of travel, adventure, wanting to be, going from place to place. And I
Go to
think
the
in
beaches.
with her YouTube, it was nomadic static. So I think like she was really just enjoying being away from home, experiencing new things. She did have a really good relationship. Oh, there's an ant. Okay, bye, ant. With his mom, but she noticed at times that the mom really wasn't reciprocating anything, and she thought that the mom was getting like a little jealous. And I think one time it was, I don't know if Brian wasn't there, but they were all sitting around the table and nobody was complimenting the mom's pie. And she's like, why isn't anyone complimenting my pie? And they were just like, okay. And Gabby had texted Brian saying that she's like just really angry over this, and he said, "Oh, she used to do that for me when I was growing up, so ignore it; it'll go away." One thing that I do want to note is that Brian did have a little bit of a dark side to him, and we can insert pictures here, but like in his drawings, it became very clear because there's stuff like just one of it said like help. It just looked ominous and dark feeling to it. You know what I mean? Because you can see a lot to a person through their drawings because they're not
Oh,
saying it
yeah.
out loud. They're just drawing what's in
Yeah,
their
the
head.
kids in like the horror movies that are drawing like
Uh
scary
huh.
creatures and stuff, usually that means that there's something bad going on.
Yeah. And I felt like just like internal screaming, like something's going on deeper to the picture. So while in Florida, Gabby, there's a lot of information on here. While in Florida, Gabby gets on Hinge, not for the dating part of it, but just to make friends. There's a part on it, or Hinge or Bubble, to like swipe for friends. And she matches with a girl named Rose, and they become friends. They're like talking in the beginning, like, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm watching this with my boyfriend. Oh, that sounds really fun." And then they just began like a really good friendship through that.
Yeah.
And
People just be hitting people up over text out the blue.
that's so weird, isn't it? You should have been invited to your wedding, but I'm not going to go on about
Okay,
that
first
one.
of all, I was gonna invite you, and my husband was like, "Well, that might be weird because we had only been texting for like a week." I wanted to. I was like,
You have to
we
do
can invite-"
redo running. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be there for the vow renewal.
Well, listen. Okay, I will let you help accompany me when I start like having kids and stuff.
I can meet my aunt.
Well, yeah.
What's my name?
Um.
Auntie Bailey? No. Aunt Bebe. Ugh.
Ain't boo boo.
Boo boo. Come here, boo boo.
Boo boo, where you at, girl?
Oh my god. Yeah, you'll be
Lily.
Lily.
Yeah,
Lily.
Peyton's baby already calls me baby Lily. So,
Oh, I like that. Lily.
yeah, it's cute when it comes out of a toddler's mouth.
What about an adult?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Lily. Okay, I'm never doing that again.
To my dog.
Get the child.
Lily, get inside this house.
Okay, back to this. They said that she would spend a lot of time with her friend Rose, and they would do like shotgun ride her friend while Rose was delivering pizza. And in one video, it was funny. She's like, "Y'all didn't even know it, but Gabby's been with me this whole time," and it just seemed like a really good friendship where it's not just one person talking the entire time. It's both mutual, like respect for each other.
Yeah.
And Gabby confided in her sometimes that the relationship was a little bit like hard, but it's just that they both just love each other and they can overcome anything. So at one point, Gabby's hanging out with Rose so much that Brian's like, "I want to meet this girl. You've been hanging out with her a lot. I want to meet her." That's what I mean. Like, same. Nick wanted to meet you, and now he's like, "We're twins." So
Kids are the same thing.
I love that. So Rose said that when she was hanging out with Gabby and Brian for the first time, it felt like a play date with a parent watching. And in like a clip on Netflix, it's Brian's off in the corner with his hammock and they're all just having fun, but you just kind of see him like just looking and peering. And I'm like, dude, calm down.
Yeah, that's controlling.
Calm it down. And Rose said that Brian was very nice, but to the mom, there's something off about him. They just no. Rose said that just started becoming more and more clear as their friendship progressed that there was just something off with him. And Brian did have a very dark side about him. And I think one time, Gabby and Rose were gonna go line dancing, and I think if you remember this from
I
the
remember this,
documentary, that they're gonna go line dancing, and Gabby was running late, and Rose's house was like 30 minutes away from Gabby, and they're like, "Where are you?" "Oh my god!" And like she was driving, and she's, "Oh my god, I don't know where my wallet is. I got to turn around and go back." Well, Brian stole her wallet because she didn't want her to go.
That's freaking psycho.
That is psycho. Like, you don't trust your girl enough, or you're just so clingy. I almost said cringy. Yeah, it's cringy too. Clingy with her that you don't want her to do anything. No. And Brian, after this, he, if he does anything bad, like I feel like with anything, actions have consequences. But during this, he would just, after that, he would get her a bunch of things in in the one video on Netflix. It was him giving her like this little thing of cute little flowers. Like they were tiny, like they were like this big. And I mean, it was cute. It was sweet,
Yeah, but it's not. Apology gifts do not count as a gift. They don't cancel out your wrongdoing.
Yeah. So he would get her a bunch of things, but she would be so upset with how he would treat her. But then he would do like this just amazing thing, and then all would be forgiven. and she would just be like, "I'm just so lucky. I don't deserve him." Cut it. Cut the tape. Bye. So,
well, she's right because she did not deserve what she had got put through.
Yeah. So July 2020 rolls around. They get engaged. They're on a trip. It's so sweet. They're hiking. Again, they love adventure. They love travel. They're hiking, and he proposes without a ring.
Yeah.
To each its own. I prefer a ring.
I remember that.
And he said that when he had gotten her hand, that a lightning bug or something landed on her ring finger, and they knew that it was a sign from nature and the universe that they were meant to be because of the bug on the ring finger.
I saw that, and I was like, I wanted to just throw up because I was like, that just made me so cringed out.
Yeah. One thing is like coming from the South, me and you, it's very traditional that like the guy will ask for permission, especially from the mom or dad. And I know when mine did, he asked permission, and I still don't know.
Ask for permission.
I don't know the end of the conversation of that. I don't know if you know the conversation with that. I feel like it's very like that's kept very well tight. Brian did not ask Gabby's dad for permission about the engagement, and I mean maybe it's just I don't know, could just be different ways of people and their traditions, but I think you should ask. My opinion.
I think you should ask because if you know Chrisley knows best, Lindsay's husband didn't ask for permission, and Todd Chrisley was not happy about that, and he was not happy that Lindsay married somebody who didn't have the guts to come and ask for his hand.
I mean, it's scary, 100%, but it's something that I feel like you should do. And again, this is our opinion. Don't come for us. It's hard.
You gotta do hard things.
Yeah, and I mean, asking him, especially your
Good things don't come easy.
Yeah. I keep burping. Oh my god, I think the Mexican got me.
Oh my god.
All right, so we're still in July, but we're in July/August now.
Okay.
July, so wow. We're on a very deep timeline here, and I feel like it's very good. I love my timeline. So, Gabby wanted to buy a van. She wanted to travel, explore, go to all these national parks, and she wanted to do. I know you heard that. Ooh, spooky. Are we gonna investigate here? She wanted to do a van life blog and travel around the world and everything. And she just wanted to do a YouTube channel, get a lot of followers. And they converted this little van into like a little camper, and it would just be downsizing. It was really cute. I
love watching them like camper van videos, and when they make them, they're so cute.
I liked it.
I would honestly like do one if I just had all the money. I wouldn't choose that over like everything. Like that wouldn't be the first thing I would buy.
Yeah.
But if I just had endless money, I'd get one at some point and make it into a cute little thing.
So in order to kind of like get the van going, or maybe like to buy it and then get the stuff they need for it, Gabby started working at Taco Bell. And I mean,
I remember this.
And in it, she was working 50 hours a week, and she liked to work in there, and she'd also would say to people, have a taco-tastic day or something like that.
I hate Taco Bell.
I've never been there.
You don't.
Okay.
You want to talk about food poisoning?
Okay.
I threw up more than I ever threw up in my life.
So Brian was upset she was working there because he said, quote, "You're working with lowlives." But again, she's just she's working there to get money for the band. Again, she's working 50 hours a week.
Yeah,
so she's saving
50 hours a week. What is this man doing?
Again, I don't really know.
What is he doing? Obviously nothing notable because we ain't talking about him.
We don't know. He eventually called Gabby's mom and said that she's working with a lot of bad people, and then sent a text apologizing to Gabby, saying that he was crying so hard in the bathroom while writing this, and that he couldn't have his life without her, blah, blah, blah.
Was he having a panic attack? Was he scared that she was going to get tired of him?
Possibly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Stop it. You're so bad. Okay.
Those who know. And if you don't know, it's okay.
You know, but lips are sealed. All right. Now, again, Gabby's van, she kept saying that those people would bring her down. Important thing to know, the van was registered in Gabby's name. Her name. Not Brian's. Her name.
Good.
Moving on. So before the trip, Gabby wrote a note saying how much she loved him, but that she was upset that he was crying, and if possible, could he please stop calling her names? We don't know what the extent of the names were. We just know that he would call her names.
I mean, you could probably take a guess.
You can take a guess. Yeah, 100%.
You gosh dang poop liquor. That's terrible. Could you please stop calling me names?
Like, if you have to ask that, I don't know.
If you have to ask your significant other to not speak to you in a derogatory or degrading
I'm
way,
out.
then it ain't the one. It ain't the
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, and I hate you. If you know, you know.
Girl, I know you did not even just do that. I cannot.
Anyway, moving on. Okay. Peyton, if you're listening, you know. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're in the timeline of the road trip. Okay, so July 2nd, the couple's in New York and they go up there and they visit Gabby's mom. Gabby's mom mentions that while she's leaving, Gabby just really gave her like the world's best hug. It was very tight. And Gabby's dad or stepdad or whoever said to Brian, keep her safe. And he said, I will. He said the tone was just very kind of like straightforward. I will keep her safe. So moving on, again, Gabby's vlog. She was doing the cross country road trip. She really wanted to start it. Brian thought it was stupid. He didn't think it would go anywhere. He just did not like it at all. My suspicion is he didn't like it because they would have so much footage, maybe to catch and like again, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, but maybe with the footage you'd be able to see a little bit into like what really happens. And that's why I think he didn't like it. You can tell by looking at the vlog and on Netflix that she's really excited about it. And at times she would get frustrated, but overall she was really enjoying vlogging the road trip, the experience of it, and everything else. And I don't know if y'all followed along, but in 2021, when all this happened, I remember I was in college about like listening to it. I remember I was in my apartment and I remember this case was going through, and I remember every day refreshing my Instagram account for her to see if any new posts had come up. And everyone was analyzing. I mean, you can go look. It's Gabby Petito on Instagram, and every single post she'd have me and him did this today, me and him did this today, and then on April 25th, it just said Happy Halloween with not any detail at all, and everyone.
Wait, on April 25th?
No, not October 25th.
I was about to
October 25th, guys.
He must have gave her a concussion or something.
October 25th, she just said Happy Halloween. But in every post from like July until then.
Me and Brian, Happy Halloween.
Yeah, what was it? Sorry, August 25th. Oh, I keep saying October. So sorry. August 25th. They're like, Happy Halloween. They're like, why are you saying like that? Because every post was so detailed. Anyway, moving on. So moving on again, timeline goes July 2nd, they leave New York. July 5th, they arrive at Monument Rocks. 8th through the 11th in July, they arrive in Colorado Springs and Great Sand Dunes National Park and Reserve. And July 14th through the 18th, they stayed at Zion National Park in Utah. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit in the timeline to August 12th, 2021 in Moab, Utah. So there was a 911 call that was taking place. And in it, they said that there was a couple walking and he had slapped her. And I don't know if she tried to slap him back, but then he had then hit her and then they got in the car and drove off. They pulled the van over because they thought it could have been like an intoxication situation because they said that the van just hit a curb, speeding erratically. And in the moment they had deemed, and like looking back at their footage, it kind of looked like they kind of deemed Gabby the aggressor in the situation.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
She was visibly shaking and crying.
Brian, she had marks on her. That was what crazy to me.
But Brian stated that Gabby had gotten him with her phone, and that's why he had scratches on his face. She said that she hit him first, and that's why he hit her.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why they did that. Because, I mean, she did say that she hit him, and she might have. I guess we don't know.
Yeah.
But
they gave Brian a hotel
and made her sleep in the van by herself.
Yeah, made her sleep in the van. Okay, let's reverse this, shall we? That situation could have even been a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
Why didn't you give the girl the hotel room and him sleep in the van?
Well, you got to think about if this is a hotel room that the police are providing for you, it probably wasn't that much better than the van.
Okay, interesting. I like your point of view.
And not to mention they're in Utah. Have you ever been there?
With the Mormons?
Don't the Mormons live in? The Mormons do live in Utah. I'm just saying, like, if you're in a if you're in a place in Utah that's like not super populated, I just would not assume that the hotels are of the best quality. Imagine like less populated than Meridian.
Mm-hmm. I get that 100%. Now, the police asked her why there were scratches on Brian, and she said it was only because he wouldn't stop telling me to calm down. Okay, interesting. Moving on. So after the
You need to
Moab
calm
incident,
down.
you're being too loud. Gabby called her mom and said that this was, I don't know how many days it was, but they said that Gabby called her mom and said that Brian was going to be flying home, empty out a storage unit, and Gabby would stay at a hotel in Utah working on the YouTube videos. Now, if you know, you know, on her YouTube video is still up. There's only one. It's called Nomadic Static. That's probably the one she was working on. And I'm just, if only she could have posted more. Like, I would have enjoyed watching those. And like they said the time, like when she
Well,
had
I mean,
posted.
I feel like she might have had the intention.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know if that part is her fault.
They said the time that her video during this, it was only at 500 views,
Yeah,
and then now it's like at
a million
a
or
million.
7 million or something.
Yeah. So August 22nd, I'm assuming this is in the hotel. Gabby reaches out to an ex-boyfriend.
Oh Lord.
She texted her ex-boyfriend and said, "Hi, I'm sure I'm the last person on the planet you want to hear from." She then called him. They talked for a couple hours, and it felt like she was more like just trying to like catch up, you know. But there are times in the conversation where he'd mentioned that she was kind of sad sounding, didn't really seem like herself. And she said that Brian and her got into an argument. He thinks that she was going to possibly get away. She just did not know how to do it. She wasn't sure what he would do and what he could do.
What you gotta do is you gotta wait till he needs to take a leak on the side of the road right there. And you tell him, yeah, go take you a leak. And what you do is you grab his wallet and his phone. You know, gotta have a little bit of humanity. You throw that out the window and you hit that gas pedal and you gone.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying just do that with like anybody, but at this point, I mean, the man probably showed some concerning warning signs considering that he had murdered this woman. So if you think you're in danger, you let them get out and take a leak, and you hit that gas pedal and you leave them
You
there.
go. Yeah. So ex-boyfriend says that he was happy for her because she was going to do what she always wanted to do. I love that he was still like supportive of her even though they had broken up.
Yeah.
But she said, "I have a plan. I think I want to leave him, but I don't know what it is." Moving on.
Leave the man out on the side of the road. That would have been the best thing.
Well, if only everyone has a friend like Lindsay. You know, they don't know what they're doing in their lives. Whatever. August 27th. Yeah, and you've given me some lovely tips and tricks that I will not say on camera. All right, August 27th, Jacksonville, Wyoming. So Gabby and Brian, they're eating at a local Wyoming. They're eating at a local Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mexican. And it says in there like she says that her like food was bad or something. Like I don't know what it was, and I don't know if that was maybe like her scapegoat trying to like leave, and he's like, "I'll just wait on you. I'll wait on you." And she's like, "I don't want you to pay for food that makes my stomach hurt. It's okay. I'll wait on you." I don't know. And then at 2:11, Gabby and Brian pull in their van into the Whole Foods parking lot. And in one part of the video, you can tell that he just aggressively slams that van door like a boom. Yeah. And I think you can kind of, I don't know if you heard it.
You could tell too, like about how she was walking and stuff. Like
yeah, she was kind of like just like this or whatever. And the last known footage that they had ever seen was from August 27th. She had texted her mom that night that was the last time anyone kind of like talked to Gabby, and you could tell that it was a conversation from Gabby. Gabby told her mom that she convinced Brian to go camp out in the woods, and that she could have the van. He doesn't care anyway, and he said that she could have the van. She paid him.
I thought she paid for the van.
Exactly. Ironic, isn't it? It's in her name.
Man,
moving on.
Fool sometimes.
Now that was August 27th.
Yeah.
Jacksonville / like Teton area. And then August 20th and 29th, it's just kind of more focusing on like more Brian. There are photos taken by Brian showing like dead animal skeletons, weird stuff like that. August 29th, a woman had gone fly fishing and Brian was hitchhiking. Again, in these areas, you're going to have to like walk a certain ways. And if it's such a far walk, you might have to hitchhike back to like your campsite. And she was hitchhiking. She gave him a ride, and the energy was kind of very typical. She said at one point to get into the campsite that she had to swerve really hard, and that her Bible on her desk of her car fell into his lap. He just kind of looked at it and put it right back on the desk. I don't know. She didn't really think anything of it, but again, she just dropped him off. August 30th, Mom texts Gabby, or mom says she got a text from Gabby saying, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls. The service is not good out here." Now, Stan is Gabby's grandfather.
Who she called Grandpa.
Gabby always called her grandfather grandpa and not Stan. That'd be like me calling like my grandfather. Like,
Yeah, that'd be like me texting my mama. Can you do something with Charles?
yeah, that'd be like me.
That would be
It would be
weird.
weird.
That's Paw. That ain't Charles.
Mm-mm. So September the 1st through 11th, since there's so much detail from these dates, I just kind of combined them. So
Cohesive.
I was very cohesive in this. Mom keeps texting, and mom keeps texting Gabby, and she's worried because she's not reaching out to her. But then she kind of blames it on like the no service. And Gabby's mom tried texting Brian's mom. It went through, but no response. And then she thought she might have been blocked or the phone might have been shut off because the text was blue at first. She went back and texted her again. Then it went green. Blocked.
Wonder why the mom wouldn't responded.
I don't know.
It ain't because she's crooked or nothing.
Mm-mm. So then they texted saying they were going to call the police. Again, if anyone says, like, to me, I'm going to call the police, I'll be like, texting immediately back, what did I do? They did not, no response to that either. They were just not going to respond.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if somebody's texting you and they say, I'm going to call the police, and you don't know what's going on or why somebody's going to call the police, you're going to say,
Why?
is there a reason that you're going to do that? What's going on? But if you don't respond, then that is basically an admission of guilt.
Yeah. So they started making phone calls to the park's police, trying to figure out where they could find her. So again, she was in that area, and they didn't know which park she was at. So they started making phone calls to them.
Lord have mercy.
So Gabby's mom calls the police in North Point, Florida. The police go to the house. Apparently, Brian's been home for the past couple of days, and he's home with the van.
And where's Gabby?
But where's Gabby? Nowhere to be found. They say, the police knock on them, and they say, we're not going to speak without our lawyer present. If there's something wrong, why are you not talking? Okay. They did, they said, is that the van? They're like, oh yeah, that's the van. And then they kind of go back to them again. They're like, we're going to have to tow the van because it's in Gabby's name. They said, okay. And they got the van out. The boyfriend's parents were just not cooperating at all. If you got nothing to hide, why are you not cooperating? But whatever.
Exactly.
And this is the last time that they had kind of talked to her was in the Grand Teton in Wyoming. Moving on. There were press conferences and last known sightings. Again, during this time, I remember being up in college, and I was full blown head into this case, freaking out. I'm like, where is this girl? And they said that the last known sightings could be August 27th through the 29th at Grand Teton. I know this is that, but whatever. And and the first conferences were happening all over, and the hunt for Gabby was ensuing. And again, it was weird because he did not return home to Florida without her.
That is like
you don't just that makes you more guilty.
Yeah, I mean that's your girlfriend, your
fiance,
and you left this girl in the middle of nowhere, and you're at home by yourself. And you're gonna sit here and try to act like you don't know what's done happened to her.
And at this time, there's like a lot of big protests going on outside like their lawn. They're like, "Where is Gabby? Where is Gabby?" And they're just like going on about their regular day. Like it's like they're not even cooperating at all. You know, like in the Scott and Lacey Peterson case, like Scott like tried or attempted to help, but then like towards the end, they're like, "No, like not even that level of decency.
Not even enough to like try to cover it up."
No. And they said that when he came home from the cross country trip, he went on a 3-day trip with his mom, dad, and sister. But the sister later came forward and said that she was only there for a couple of hours. And yeah.
Well, at least the sister said something.
Well, during this time, they were doing like phone records and everything, and they were saying like the day after August 27th that Brian had made like several phone calls, and they were like to his parents, lasting hours long. What's going on? You gotta talk about them for that long, and then all this going on. So
I don't know. My mama calls me sometime, and I'll look up, and I'm like, dang, I done talked to this woman for 4 hours on the phone.
Yeah, it's the mother.
But then again, I also am not across the country,
That's true.
and I don't know. It's odd.
So during this time, they're still trying to locate where Gabby is. And I remember, again, I might be totally wrong about this, but when all this was happening, again, I remember because I followed the case, and I remember seeing his Instagram and her Instagram. And I remember kind of him posting like a brief 1 second little clip of him in the like out in like water. I just remember that. Everyone else, if you follow along,
He's
you
still alive. I believe it. I think he's still alive.
that is a good conspiracy theory. Josh, to check
Is that
into.
what we're
I
gonna
don't
get
have
to?
one, but we can talk about those. But
I'll tell you why I think he's still alive.
they said that like a neighbor or somebody called and they said you need to do a welfare check on Brian because they think he's missing and they hadn't seen him for days. So
Admission of guilt.
so they searched Brian's home, and again during this time they're still trying to find Gabby. They haven't found her yet at all. So it's like, oh, we're trying to find Gabby. Oh, but her fiance's missing too. It's like, really? Like, you couldn't even just let her have, like, now you gotta try to find both of them?
Well,
Whatever.
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
well,
So,
at this point, I think they probably know that
they know.
the chances of Gabby are not great.
No, especially not in those
Not in that area,
conditions.
because they
No.
got cannibals out there.
So they searched Brian's home and they found a note from Brian's mother to Brian that said, burn after reading.
Ooh, Lord
And I'm not
have
going to
mercy.
read kind of like what the part said, but one part I am going to read that says, if you're in jail, I'll bake a cake with a nail file in it and send it to you. Interesting. So, stuff like that.
She a boy mom for real.
Mm-hmm. So eventually, they're trying to narrow everything down to Gabby's last known like whereabouts because they know like she was in like Wyoming and the Grand Teton area because of the footage.
Yeah,
and
that's a lot.
That's a lot of area to cover,
And that's a lot of places that ain't got no cell phone service.
No,
either.
But they say between August 27th and August 29th. And finally, this one couple on YouTube that kind of does the same thing as what Gabby and Brian did with their traveling and stuff. They said, wait, what does the van look like? And it's a little white Ford Transit van. And they said, let me look back at our camera footage. They found the van on August 27th, camped off over there to the side. And then they sent that immediately to the police. They even did like, is this Gabby's van? Posted it everywhere. And they were able to kind of find like the tire tracks of that area.
Lo and
behold, they were able to retrieve the footage. And from that evidence, they were then able to move forward with the investigation, able to then search that area and found her body. They said it was in kind of like fetal position. And they said that they believe that she died on August 27th. And they believe that she died through blunt force trauma and strangulation. And so they were able to find her then, not in the way that they wanted to, of course, in all respect to her and her family. That was just awful.
Oh, yeah.
She just wanted to go and explore and live her life, and then come to that end to it. It just like when I remember finding out about it, I was hurt. I was like, "You got to be kidding me! This is awful."
Yeah, and it's sad too because obviously somebody that like stays in a relationship like that, a lot of times it's just because people like that, especially women, they just have big hearts, and it's just for them like it's hard to not love somebody or to like have to be mean or make that decision because they just want them to love them the way that they love that person.
And it's I can fix them.
It's always an I can fix them.
No.
And she was obviously a really sweet girl, or at least she looked like one.
She did.
Now she's dead because this boy was, number one, a dang psycho. Number two, I think it was one of those situations of if I can't have you, nobody can.
I think so too.
And I also think it was a situation of maybe embarrassment at the fact that he knew that she was gonna leave him.
Yeah, and I think at the time her friend kind of sensed that she was kind of pulling away and seeing like her life independently before the trip, and then now it's like the trip happens. How can I get you isolated, alone, and being by yourself? We're dependent on just me.
Well, I will say too, like as far as like from like a professional standpoint, one of the main like indications or a very strong indication of a domestic abuse is through like cutting personal ties with people other than your spouse. or other than your
Interesting.
significant other,
Yeah.
or anything like that. So
Yeah.
that's a really good way to know. A lot of times you will see where people who are so invested into like their significant other that they don't really do anything with anyone else. It'll come out later that, they were being abused.
Yeah. Well, getting into this last part, Brian's demise. So during this time, everyone still thinks that Brian just went missing for a while. He's been gone for the 3 days. Family thinks that he just might have gone to a camping spot that he loves, and the car that he drove there, it's just been parked there. It's the only car there. It's been there for days, and they tow it back. And they had a search for him that lasted 39 days.
Keep in mind the whole place was flooded real
Exactly.
bad.
It was flooded. It was hard.
Like enough for a John boat.
Yeah, it was hard to, like, you could see in the video the police are wading through, like, they can't do much of anything, but they have the dogs.
They said
are
the alligators were getting after the dang dogs.
Exactly. I mean, this is such a hard time. And finally, on the 40th day, they let the family go and search. And within an hour or two, they found him. He is dead. His body is just a skeleton at this point.
That's not.
Self-inflicted gunshot wound. But
did he have a self-inflicted gunshot wound and then burn himself?
Well, from what TikTok is telling me, because I saw that some people did a post about it.
TikTok.
Yeah, the TikTok. They said that due to different weather conditions, that it is completely possible for a body to do that. They said that the girl was like experienced. This is what her job is, and that's what she told me. And I said, okay, girl.
I mean, I agree. Like, you can have it where
and went to Florida,
animals get after you
Yeah.
and stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a professional in that area,
No,
so I guess I don't know. But I do think
he's alive somewhere.
I think it's odd that he was just a skeleton.
Weird.
Like, this might be grotesque, but like, was there any kind of meaty bits? How did they identify him as just a skeleton? The teeth?
The teeth. And the person.
But how many teeth were there left?
But they said that it was his uncle, was a dentist, that identified his teeth.
His uncle was the dentist? Well, there's your answer right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get to the last part of this. Brian.
You can pull teeth out too.
I don't even want to think about it.
Well, I mean,
I know you can. It's just owie. Brian wrote a suicide note saying that there was a terrible accident and that Gabby was hurt so badly and that she just wanted the pain to go away so desperately. So he felt that he needed to end her life and that he couldn't live on without her. So he took his life in return. And that is the Gabby Petito case. And still to this day, like, I think they've been doing like lawsuits, stuff like that. But they, like, I've heard from people on TikTok that say that they live close by the laundries and their dog goes and poops in their yard every day. They leave trash in their yard. It's just like,
listen.
I'd move.
Well, I remember the note saying there was more to it than just a nail file, correct?
Yeah.
It said something about, I'll have a shovel,
Yeah,
I'll help you bury the body.
I was just like,
so they know. They know.
But,
aiding and abetting. They need to go somewhere to serve what they have served for what they've done. Because they know what they did.
Even if he's dead, I mean, there should be some repercussions to that. And they lost their daughter.
Well, what I had heard was, okay, so I saw on TikTok, somebody had shown where he made a post, or he had like been active on Instagram, and it was like a story post, and it was almost like an accident where he was on like a John boat or something in a marsh. Either like the day he was found, or like right after, and it was for like a second, and it was like almost immediately deleted.
That's what I remember too.
So, number one, there you go. And so here's the thing with like the conditions. I understand that. I understand if an animal got after him or something, but like there would still be like, stuff.
I get it.
And if the water, like if with the flooding and everything, if he had gotten his like near the water or something, his bones probably would have like got spread out by the water.
Interesting. I mean, all the stuff we won't ever know what will happen.
Yeah,
that's why it just remains a mystery.
Keep in mind, all I have to say is, so Lacey and Scott Peterson, right? She had been in the water for months. It wasn't just skeletons with her. It was more to it than just bones. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
So, and she had been gone for longer than oh boy, and she was like actually in the ocean.
Yeah.
So like animals definitely had got after her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the post on the Instagram, I'm telling you, and like his dad or his uncle was the dentist. First of all, like I said, you can pull teeth. Second of all, his uncle was the dentist. I mean, doctors do crazy crap all the time. Like there are bad doctors out there, just like there's bad everything out there. But if you have heard of like Doctor Death, well, he wasn't actually. That's kind of controversial, but like that one person who was killing folks in a hospital, I can't remember their names.
I remember that one.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think he's probably up in Canada somewhere, hiding out in the wilderness since he's such a wilderness lover.
Who knows where he is?
Well, he might not still be alive. If he's trying to live out in the wilderness, he might be dead by now. But I don't think
he's either
that was
dead
him.
or alive. There's just a lot of conspiracy theories out there with this case.
Well, if he is alive, I hope he's miserable.
Do you think that he, like in the note, it said that she was in pain over an accident, or do you think it was, if I can't have you, no one can, type of thing?
I absolutely believe it. But I can't have you, no one can.
Because you see so much of those even nowadays. So that I can't have you, no one can.
The thing is too, is like a lot of women, like she said she hit him or whatever, but I've heard a lot of women that like they don't act crazy or like do stuff like that in a relationship unless the other person pushes them to. And so if she didn't have prior history, and like that's for men and women, but like if this person did not have prior history of acting crazy in relationships, then it's like, what is making her act that way out of the sudden? And I mean, if she was well off enough with her ex to the point where like they could call each other and have long conversations and they got along well, she obviously probably wasn't, beating him. So it's like, where did that come from and what pushed her to that point? And so I think that Brian is a piece of crap. That's what I think he is.
This whole case was just unfortunate. It could have just taken a better turn. It could have just been where they both were alive or whatever. But you just had to. It just had to end the way it did. But
the best thing would have been for her to like
leave.
For her friend, for her to be like, oh, you know what? He sucks. Let me break up with him. And she and her friend could have went out and done some traveling.
Easily could have done that. But that was our case for this week.
Yes.
And it'll be Lindsay's turn next week. Lindsay, do you have your case or what are you thinking?
You know what? I do have many ideas.
Okay.
And it's a surprise.
It's a surprise. So I won't even know. Because
I ain't decided.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you, but I'm in between a couple ideas. Because I have one good idea that I'm like kind of leaning towards, but I have another one too. I'm like kind of in between.
Well, I know we're gonna be coming out with more
bonus
episodes, kind of stuff more around our hometown. I think we're coming out. I think one just dropped tonight actually. Stuckey's Bridge, and that one's interesting because of the famous Dalton gang running up through that. So if you haven't checked that one out, it's down below.
Girl, it didn't come out tonight. This is
Stuckey's Bridge did.
Well, yeah, but like our tonight is gonna be a different tonight when this is on the internet.
True, but if you can watch Stuckey's Bridge when you can get a minute, that one's a good one, and it is one of our newest ones that just came out about a guy robbing and killing people at a lovely little
beautiful
inn.
Story. Oh my
beautiful story, and we're actually gonna go and do an investigation there when it gets a little bit warmer. She might not be happy, but I'm happy about that.
Oh, I'm happy about it.
I'm excited. We're just hopefully we make it out of there alive. Hope I didn't jinx us, but I went there in the daytime and it was kind of creepy. But anyways, see y'all next time. We're Bells and Bloodshed out. Peace, guys.
YouTube and Spotify. Like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.